Hello, good people. Welcome to Brian's Academy, where learning is made easier. You are very important people to this channel. Without you, I don't know where I will be right now. You are very important people. Thank you for your unwavering support. So today I want us to go through some revision paper as we prepare for the national exam for grade 9, and today I want us to go back to grade 8 work, where we are going to revise a paper that is very important. So don't skip, stay tuned until the end because we are going to learn a lot. So let's start with section A. We see how the learners were supposed to tackle questions under the section A. And remember, it's grade 7 and grade 8 work. So if you are a grade 9 learner, you have to be alert to identify which question is from grade 7 and which question is from grade 8. That is a key point when you are tackling questions. The first thing you have to understand which grade is this question from, so that it will be easy for you at least to remember the concept that you learned from that grade under that strand. So question 1, in a drawing a map work, a plane scale is based on a constant ratio known as RF. What does RF mean? So RF, it's an abbreviation of representative fraction. It is an abbreviation of representative fraction. Question number 2. During a firefighting drill, grass was set on fire. The firefighters then removed all dry grass and other combustible materials around the fire so that no fuel was left to sustain it. Which firefighting techniques was being demonstrated? So here I'm going to give you the technique that has been explained here, and I'm giving you an exercise. Let me know the definition of the remaining techniques under the comment section so that I know if we are together. So the technique which is described here is starving technique or starvation technique. So as a learner, can you define for me or describe for me the following technique under firefighting in grade 8? Cooling, smothering, and interruption. Remember, we have 4 techniques. I have given you the definition of 1 technique. So can you describe for me the remaining 3 techniques? Thank you. Question number 3. The diagram below shows the layout of a drawing paper, grade 8 work, under production. So this is a drawing layout. We have parts of components of a drawing layout. So which of the following correctly identifies parts P, Q, and R? So part P is border, part Q is margin, part R is drawing area, and part S is title. If I was a learner, I don't need to know a lot about this figure here. I just need to know part R, and part R will take me to the correct answer because I know part R is drawing area. So I will just go where part R is and I check where the drawing, which response has the drawing area, and I find that the correct response is response C. Question number 4. Which of the following shapes is correctly dimensioned to show length of the rectangle? So here we are talking about type of lines used in dimensioning, and one of the type of lines used in dimensioning is extension line. So here the learners were being checked on their understanding of the extension line. When you draw an extension line, where are you supposed to indicate the figures? So the correct answer was A. That is the correct placement of that figure on an extension line. Question 5. A fire broke out in a school. Investigations later revealed that it had been caused by arson. Which one of the following is the best way of preventing such incidents in future? So here the keyword that the learner was supposed to underline is arson. And when we talk about arson, we are talking about deliberate start of fire. These learners knew what they were doing. So, for example, the case of Utumishi girls. So that was arson. So, in a case like that, what is the best prevention measures? According to the response that we have been given, the best one is about strengthening guidance and counseling programs for learners on discipline and responsibility. They have to know if they start this fire, what is the consequences. So that was the correct response. Question number 6. The following are steps used in constructing a plane scale. They are not in order. So we have those steps as you can see there. Subdivide the main line into equal parts. Draw a line of suitable length to represent the scale. We have mark the 0 point and label the units. Then we have draw diagonal lines to help read smaller measurements. So the question was, which of the following shows the correct order of the steps? So the first order is drawing a line of suitable length to represent the scale. So you come up with the measurement. For example, you want to draw a line of 6 centimeter. 6 centimeter. After drawing 6 centimeter, what are you going to do? You are going to subdivide the main line into equal parts. You decide that I'm going to divide it into 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters. So you are going to come up with 3 parts because the length is 6 centimeters. So we divide it into 2 centimeters. You come up with 3 parts. Then after that, you mark the 0 point and label the units. So on your left, you mark the 0 point. Then after that, draw diagonal lines to help read smaller measurements. So the correct response was part A. Question 7. Which of the following is not a physical safety measure in a work environment? Here we are talking about physical, something that you can touch, physical, something that you can see physically using your eyes. So which one is not? So when you talk about practicing throwing tools safely to another person in a workplace, that means that you are endangering the life of that person. You are not supposed to throw tools to one another in a workshop. You are going to injure each other. But when you talk about wearing suitable personal protective equipment, that's PPE, that is correct. Then avoiding putting sharp objects in pocket, that is correct. Then sorting tools, equipment, and materials in designated area, that is a correct safety measure. Question 8. Drawing is a form of communication. So, which of the following is true about technical drawing? So, technical drawing, it uses artistic, that word artistic, that is artistic drawing. So, it's not the correct one. It communicates ideas using clear and precise lines. Yes, in technical drawing, we use measurements, and those measurements are giving us the communication ideas, that this lens I'm going to use maybe 20 meters, the width I'm going to use 10 meters. So it's communicating and it's giving us the precise lines that we need. Then it is mainly used to decorate. No, it avoids the use of measurement. No, it uses measurement. Question 9. Learners were learning about type of lines used in drawing. They came across the line shown below. So what type of line is it? So that type of line was oblique line. It was oblique line. Question 10. A farmer replaces a broken wooden handle of a hoe with a metallic one. Which of the following is the main advantage of using the metallic handle? So remember we said that metallic, one of the property of a metal is that it is durable. It is durable. So we are going to check on that answer that touches on durable, and you find that that answer is part C. It is more durable under repeated use. Question 11. Which one of the following is not a quality of an entrepreneur? Grade 7 work, qualities of entrepreneur. He must be a risk taker, he must be creative in decision making, and he must be able to identify opportunities or loopholes so that he can come up with the business. But depending fully on others for all decision, no, that's not a quality of a good entrepreneur. So the correct answer is C. Question 12. A group of learners plan to start a small bakery that will supply bread to a nearby schools and shops. They must decide on the size of the production unit before starting. Which one of the following is not a factor to consider when determining the size of production unit? So production unit, that is grade 7 work. So you don't need experience of the manager in banking. You don't need the experience of the manager in banking. So the correct answer was part C. Question 13. Financial goals help individuals and businesses plan how to manage money and achieve targets. Which one of the following is not a smart financial goal? So that's grade 7 work. So the correct answer is saving money regularly. You don't save money regularly. If you save money regularly, you won't be left with something to use. So the correct answer was C. Question 14. A modern washing machine is controlled automatically using a built-in what type of computer system is used in a washing machine? So we talk about embedded computer. Question 15. Which one of the following is true about data in an electronic device? Data, it is needed for devices to operate. So the correct answer was part B. Question 16. Which one of the following is an example of an online safety threat? So phishing emails and asking for personal information, part C. Question 17. Computers use different types of storage devices. Which of the following is an advantage of fixed storage device? Remember, fixed, they are inside the computer. You can't remove them. They are not removable. So you find that they provide large and permanent storage inside the computer, one that you can't remove. Question 18. The characteristics of a computer that enables it to give the same results repeatedly. We talk about consistency. You are consistent. You do these things in and out. Kila siku unafanya. So you are consistent. So the correct answer was B. Question 19. Visual programming uses blocks or visual elements instead of typing code. Which of the following is not an example of a visual programming? So we talk about Roblox. That's a feature of visual programming, Roblox. Question 20. In visual programming, which term is used to describe a decision-making structure that allows a program to choose between different actions? So when you talk about sequence statement, it is executed one after another in the order in which they appear in the process. When you talk about input-output statement, we are talking about allowing programs to interact with the user and external devices. So the correct answer was C. The correct answer was C. So under the section B of this pre-technical paper, we have the question 21 talking about drawing is an important skill used in design and communication. So you are supposed to name 3 tools used in drawing. So the 3 tools used in drawing, we have the T-square, we have a set square, we have ruler, you can have a compass, a pencil, and an eraser. So those are some of the tools used in drawing and design and communication. For question number 22, grade 8 learners visited a workshop and learned about measuring tools. Write one use of each of the measuring tools below. So the first one is vernier caliper. So vernier caliper is used to measure the internal or the external diameters. To measure the internal or the external diameters. Then we have the micrometer screw gauge. Micrometer screw gauge, it is used to measure small thickness. Used to measure small thickness. Then we have beam balance. Beam balance is used in measuring mass or weight. It's used to measure mass or weight. Question number 23. A teacher described a freehand technique that uses dots to create shading and texture. So the question is, name the technique mentioned by the teacher. So in freehand, we have various techniques. We have stippling techniques, which involves shading by using dots of varying density. We have the hatching. Hatching involves sketching using parallel lines. Then we have another freehand technique of blending or smudging, which involves smoothing out lines to create a more gradual transition between light and dark. Then we have cross-hatching, which involves creating a darker shade by crossing or intersecting lines over each other. As you can see on your screen, I have displayed some of these techniques and how they are done, the images. So here, the question was named the technique mentioned by the teacher. So the name of the technique is stippling technique, where we are using dots. Then question number B, draw a leaf of a plant using the technique mentioned. So we are going to draw a leaf and shade it using the stippling technique, where we apply the dots. For question number 24, materials of production are the raw substances or resources used in the process of making products. Name one material of production used in each of the following production activities. There we have tailoring. Tailoring, we can use fabric, we can use a yarn, and we can use threads. Then we have shoe making. Under shoe making, we can use leather. And then we have construction. Under construction, we can use cement, sand, or metals. You can also use wood, because wood is also used in construction for coming up with the roofs. Question number 25. Metals are commonly used in different work environments. State for advantage of using metals in a work environment. So metals, you find that they are strong, So here we are talking about the characteristics of methods, because it is these characteristics that are giving us the use. It's the features that make us to go for them. So we find that metals are strong, they are durable, they are malleable, they are recyclable, and they are resistant to heat and electricity, because we find that they are good conductor of electricity. So those are the answers to that question. Question number 26. ICT tools are used to support communication between people in different locations. State 4 ICT tools used for communication. So the ICT tools used for communication, we have mobile phones, we have email, video conference apps like Skype, Google Meet, Zoom, Microsoft Teams. Then we have also computers. We can use them in communication as ICT tools, and we have the desktop, tablets, and laptops. Then we have social networking, where we have WhatsApp, Facebook, we have X or Twitter. Then we also have online collaboration, where we have Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, and also we have Zoom. So those are examples of ICT tools used in communication. Question number 27. The following are categories of input devices used to enter data into a computer. Name one device under each category. We have the voice input device. The voice input device, they allow users to interact with the computer using their voices. So examples, we have the microphone, we have the headsets. Then part B, keying devices. And under keying devices, there are devices used to enter text, numbers, and symbols by pressing keys. An example is a keyboard. Then we also have the pointing devices. Under the pointing devices, they allow users to control the cursor or pointer on a computer screen. And a good example is a mouse, a trackpad, a joystick, a stylus, and a trackball. Those are examples of pointing devices. For question 28, computers and other electronic devices store important personal and organizational data that needs to be protected from unauthorized access and loss. State 3 ways of securing data in an electronic device. So one of the way of protecting data is avoiding opening spam emails or links, using of strong passwords, then installing antivirus apps or softwares. We have backing up of data. We also have use of firewalls, and we have software update. Question 29. A grade 8 learner was creating a game in Scratch. He clicked on the code block category shown below. So it's about looks. So state 2 code blocks that he is likely to find in this category. So we have the control, we have sound, we have end, we have motion, and we have triggering. Those are some of the code blocks that are likely to be found on this category. So that's the end of our revision for this paper. Remember to subscribe, comment, and share. Let's meet in our next revision session. Thank you, and may God bless you.